And we are live.
Good morning, everyone. I'm just checking that you can hear me. It's 9 a.m. on the 27th of June, 2024, and this is a special council meeting for our council's budget. As you can see, I am not in the room. I'm still COVID positive. I'm just double checking with the Deputy Mayor, who's on a planned leave. So normally the Deputy Mayor would chair this meeting. Can I just double check, Deputy Mayor, that you're also unable to chair this meeting?
I am unable to chair the meeting, unfortunately, Mayor. I am online via Teams, so thank you.
Thank you so much, Deputy Mayor. So in accordance with our procedures, our meeting procedures policy at 9.1.3 on the presiding officer, if both the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor are absent or unable to preside, a councillor chosen by the council's present at the meeting will preside over the meeting. As today is our budget meeting and it does sit within the Committee of Finance and Governance, I move that Councillor Paul Tully be appointed as the acting chairperson for the council special meeting today. Do I have a seconder for that?
Thanks, Mayor. I'll second that.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Any discussion? I should double check, Councillor Tully, you're okay with that?
Yeah, I'll accept that. Thank you.
Thank you. In that case, I'll put the matter to the vote. Noni, I can't see your hand, so I may need some assistance here. My hand is up. I actually can't count in the room. May I ask the CEO to let me know what the
Certainly,
count is
Mayor.
in the chamber?
All hands are raised.
Okay, I'll just double check with the Deputy Mayor.
Affirmative, thank you.
Thank you. So that's unanimous. So thank you very much, Councillor Tully. I know we discussed this on Monday as a contingency plan in case I'm still positive, so thank you very much. And I'll now just ask the chambers to allow him some time to get settled in. Thank you.
Yeah, thank you very much, and welcome to the budget meeting. I don't think the Mayor acknowledged all councillors are present, either online, the Mayor and the Deputy Mayor. So we'll record everyone in attendance at the meeting. Acknowledgement of country. Ipswich City Council respectfully acknowledges the traditional owners as custodians of the land and waters we share. We pay our respects to their elders past, present and emerging as the keepers of the traditions, customs, cultures and stories of proud people. Could I invite Councillor Madsen to present the opening prayer?
Thank you, Chair. Heavenly Father, grant that we who seek to serve you in the affairs of this council may have wisdom in our deliberations, the guiding of your hand in our works, and the grace to serve together to advance the prosperity of our city. Amen.
Thank you. Declarations of interest on the agenda. Are there any declarations of interest at this stage?
Councillor Tunney, I might have one in declaration of interest for the charitable rate concessions.
Mm-hmm. Thank you. Go ahead. Yes, proceed. Thank you.
Sorry, mate. In accordance with the 150 EQ of the Local Government Act 2009, I, David Cullen, inform the meeting that I have a declarable conflict of interest in the 6.5 rates concession, charitable organisation sporting, being the I'm a board member of Goodness Enterprises Tivoli Drive-In.
Thank you. Can I ask, are you an office bearer of this organisation?
Yes, I am.
What office do you hold there?
Board member.
And do you receive any financial or personal benefit for any decision which we might make today?
No, I don't.
Okay. I will then move that you participate and vote on that item because there is no personal or financial benefit to yourself, and therefore a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. Is there a seconder?
I'm happy to second that motion.
Seconder, Councillor Antonelli. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All in favour? Thank you. Mayor? Mayor has voted, I notice.
Affirmative.
Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
Right, I declare that motion carried unanimously, and note that that you didn't vote in relation to that particular matter, Councillor Cullen. Are there any other declarations?
Thank you, Chair.
Councillor Doyle?
Yeah, I too would like to declare that in accordance with Section 150 EQ of the Local Government Act, I, Councillor Marnie Doyle, inform the meeting that I have a declarable conflict of interest in item 6.3 in relation to the North Ipswich Bowls Club rates concession. The nature of the interest is my sister's father-in-law is a director on that committee, and I have a close family relationship with him.
Are you an office bearer? Is there any connection of you of an office bearer of the organisation? And do you receive any financial or personal benefit as a result of any decision we make today?
No, Chair.
Okay. I'll move that Councillor Doyle participate and votes on that item because there's no personal or financial benefit, and therefore a reasonable person would trust that the final decision is made in the public interest. Is there a seconder?
I'm happy to second that again.
Councillor Antonelli. Any discussion? I'll put the motion. All in favour? I note that that's all present here are voting in favour, including the Mayor. Councillor Johnnick, Deputy Mayor?
Affirmative. Thank you.
I'll declare that motion carried. Are there any other declarations of interest?
Just seek some clarity, Chair. I previously had conflicts on this matter in previous years regarding my membership of the executive of the Ipswich Trades Hall. Just noting that in today's agenda, attachment 2 for this item includes those associated matters, but we've previously voted at council meetings, since I'm no longer involved with that association, that those conflicts aren't in place. How would you like to proceed on that?
Yes, I've spoken to officers about that. That was split into two segments on the basis of the previous declaration by you last year. I'm assuming, based on your recent declarations or lack of declaration, that you no longer have that interest. So the proposal would be to move that motion as one item, rather than separately if you have no declaration to make today. Yeah, my understanding is since I no longer have that declaration to make, I don't need to make one. So just wanted to be quite open about that. I believe that to be the position, and that you would be free to vote based either on any previous decision or that you no longer have an interest or a declarable interest. All right. Thank you, Chair. Are there any other declarations? No, thank you. We'll move on to item 6, Officers' Reports, 6.1. This is the annual plan 2024-25. I'll read the motion that in accordance with section 104(5)(a) of the Local Government Act 2009 and sections 174 and 175 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Ipswich City Council adopt the annual plan 2024-25, which includes the annual operational plan 2024-25 from page 19, the annual operational plan, and the Ipswich Waste Services Performance Plan 2024-2025 from page 89, the annual performance plan for a commercial business unit, but excluding the city annual budget 2024-2025 from page 97, which has been detailed in a separate report from the Chief Financial Officer. I'll move that motion. Is there a seconder? Seconder, Councillor Doyle. Does anyone wish to speak to the seek questions of the relevant officer? No. Perhaps, CEO, you could just give a brief outline of what this incorporates for the coming year.
Thank you very much, Chair. I'd be delighted to. I'm very proud as the CEO on behalf of the organisation to present to you this draft annual plan for the 24-25 financial year. The 24-25 annual plan sets out our proposed city's year ahead. The plan itself contains 38 key or major deliverables that the 1,500 employee strong workforce will seek to deliver, in addition to continuing to deliver against the 33 core service categories that this council delivers to the community of Ipswich. The deliverables are set out in the annual plan, and these align to our council's 5-year corporate plan, iFuture 2021 to 2026, where we continue to focus on delivering services to the community across those 4 key deliverables in iFuture. The process of developing the annual plan was undertaken in conjunction with the numerous workshops that were held with councillors, Mayor and Deputy Mayor over the past 6 months or so. The officers have worked up to deliver the annual plan, and as I mentioned, I proudly lay it before you today as the council for your consideration. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Are there any questions? Comments? I'll put the motion. All in favour? We don't have vision of you at the moment, Mayor. We do now. So you're voting in favour. Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
I'll declare that motion carried. We now move on to the adoption of the budget. Before the formal motions are moved, I'll invite the Mayor to deliver her budget speech for 2024-2025.
Thank you very much, Chair. My fellow councillors, CEO, residents and ratepayers of Ipswich. Today it's my honour to table the Ipswich City Council 2024-2025 budget and annual plan. This is a budget firmly focused on sustainability, the financial sustainability of our council as we face down an ongoing cost of living crisis, as well as sustainable growth for our suburbs as we prepare for our population to grow at a higher rate than any other council in Queensland in the coming decades. Our population is set to more than double from our current 254,000 residents to 533,000 by 2046. To achieve this, we need to cater for an additional 100,000 homes. This equates to 100 new homes being delivered in Ipswich each week. With this comes the ever-increasing demand for roads, footpaths, sporting fields, playgrounds and parks to support the rapid growth of our city. This is an incredible ask of council and the ratepayers of Ipswich, particularly during a cost of living crisis. We are not a large council. We do not have the significant rate space of our larger neighbours such as Brisbane, Moreton Bay and Logan. So we cannot take a backward step in preparing for our future. Together, we have carefully considered the budget presented today to ensure the financial sustainability of our council and the ongoing livability of our city. Importantly, this is not the Mayor's budget. This is a budget determined by all councillors. Each and every council has collaborated, advocated on behalf of their divisions and have had their say in the budget before us today. And I thank you all for your contribution. We have worked together to find a sensible balance between an ongoing cost of living crisis that shows little sign of easing and ensuring the sustainable growth of our suburbs. Today, we hand down a $663 million budget supported by a general rate rise of 5.45% and an average increase to your residential rates and charges bill of $2.58 per week per household. Now, we know times are tough for our most vulnerable residents. So this will be offset by a 5.45% increase in the pensioner concession for all eligible pensioners. This will see the pensioner concession increase to $258 for the full pension and $127 for the part pension. We also know that tenants don't directly pay rates, but often bear the brunt of rate rises through rent hikes. Therefore, we have kept our rate increase the same for owner-occupiers as for landlords to better protect our renters. Despite having a local economy that has grown by 6.8%, construction costs that have risen by 27%, And Ipswich property valuations jumped last year by a staggering 33%. We worked hard to find the balance between the pressures of population growth and minimising the cost passed on to our ratepayers. While a rate increase of 5.45% is higher than the current rate of CPI at 3.6%, this gap between those two figures equates to an extra 55 cents per week on your rates bill per household, but it will deliver an additional $4 million to our city. It is this small difference that has allowed our council to continue to deliver the services, programs and major projects that our residents expect while maintaining a modest budget surplus. To this end, this budget commits more than $200 million to our capital works program, which will ensure we continue to deliver the critical projects we need to move our city forward. This includes more than $62 million to maintain, upgrade and expand our growing road network. This council is delivering the largest road upgrades to our local network that this city has ever seen. The duplication of the Springfield Parkway and Springfield Greenbank Arterial is well advanced. The expansion of Redbank Plains Road is on track, and council is now proud to add the much-needed upgrades of the Ripley and Fisher Roads in Ripley and the intersection of Mary and William Streets Blackstone to this list. Of course, it's not just the big projects that count. We know the smaller ones are just as important. Therefore, council will also commit a further $16.3 million towards the rehabilitation of our sealed and gravel roads, close to $1 million in new and improved footpaths, and a further $2.6 million for our curb and channel program across the suburbs of Ipswich. Our asset rehabilitation continues in the wake of the devastating 2022 floods, with a commitment of $89 million this year, which includes $11 million to support the continuation of the voluntary home buyback program through to 2026. To date, we have seen 161 properties purchased, with most already demolished or removed. And we look forward to working with the community on the potential for these new green spaces. As our city grows, so does the demand for sporting fields, parks and community facilities. So this budget will see $12 million being invested to ensure our assets can keep pace with this demand. That includes $500,000 each for the upgrades of the Tivoli Sporting Complex and Redbank Plains Rec Reserve this year, with an $18 million proposed for investment over the next 3 years. A number of attractions in our iconic Queen's Park will receive more than $4 million in upgrades as they continue to delight locals and attract visitors from across the southeast. Plus, a new floodplain wetland will be established at the Pan Pacific Gardens Redbank, a new ephemeral wetland at Bremervale Park Raceview, and another at Height Family Park in Willowbank. Resource recovery remains a key focus of this council as we commit to almost $20 million across our 3-year capital works program to boost capacity in our waste infrastructure and reduce our dependency on landfill. This includes $1.3 million for significant upgrades to the Riverview Recycling and Refuse Centre, $1 million to progress the new Southern Resource Recovery Centre and Animal Management Facility, and $500,000 for the planning and design of the new Western Resource Recovery Centre. We know times are tough for everyone, and councils are not immune to this. As the state and federal governments squeeze their budgets, we are being asked to do more than ever before, but with much, much less. From public transport and homelessness outreach to public health and community safety, and most recently the treatment of fire ants, cost shifting onto Queensland councils has reached an all-time high. For high growth councils, the biggest burden comes from the gap between what the state allows council to charge developers for the infrastructure to service new homes versus the true cost to deliver this service. While the cost of delivering infrastructure has soared in recent years, infrastructure charges are capped by the state government so councils cannot fully recoup these costs. Councils face a looming $2.2 billion black hole for trunk infrastructure across Queensland. That's the equivalent of $269 for every residential rates bill in the southeast, including Ipswich. Yet we continue to buff our communities from these costs while delivering more value for our residents than we have ever before, through more free and low-cost activities to help stretch family budgets further. Over the past 12 months, more than 20,000 residents visited the Queen's Park Environmental Education Centre. Another 60,000 visited the Ipswich Art Gallery and Community Gallery, and more than 120,000 visitors enjoyed the Ipswich Nature Centre, the only one of its kind in southeast Queensland. Council delivers around 50 free or low-cost events each year, almost one a week, including our major events such as Spark and Christmas in Ipswich, which last year attracted more than 100,000 residents and visitors. More than 20,000 residents have joined in one of our 1,200 free or low-cost exercise and wellbeing sessions in the past year. And across our libraries, we had more than 800,000 visits last year, with more than 85,000 residents participating in one of our 2,000 library programs. In this school holiday break alone, Council is offering more than 100 free activities for families looking for a fun yet cost-effective day out in Ipswich. While the temptation always exists for Council to adopt for lower and lower rate rises, what you have seen in other councils, this has resulted in cuts to staff, cuts to major projects, and cuts in service delivery. This is something our council simply cannot sustain. Ipswich has the highest rate of growth over the next 20 years of any council in Queensland. I commend our councillors for having the financial sensibility and long-term vision to ensure we are preparing for the future and not passing the buck. It has been a tough job, particularly for our new councillors, but we can truly say we have worked as a team to collectively deliver this Ipswich City Council 2024-25 budget and annual plan. I would also like to thank the CEO and her team for their hard work and efforts for supporting the budget we hand down today. This is a budget we agreed would be about financial sustainability, sustainable growth, and the long-term future of Ipswich, and I believe we have achieved that today. I now commend the Ipswich City Council 2024-25 budget and annual plan to the Chamber. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Mayor. Before I move on to the formal motions for the adoption of the budget, does any councillor wish to speak to an officer or officers about the budget? No, thank you. I will formally move 6.2 that recommendations A to V be adopted. Is there a seconder?
Yes, Chair.
Yeah, seconded the Mayor. A discussion. Councillor Doyle.
Thank you, Chair. In these tough economic times, our 2024-25 budget focuses on getting the basics right for the City of Ipswich by investing in the core businesses of local government. Managing the challenges of population growth has driven many of our decisions this year as a new council. As one of the fastest growing cities in the state, it is essential we get the basics right for our residents. This growth is bringing us challenges such as increased demands on infrastructure amid soaring construction costs. We need to ensure that with the new housing that is coming online, we're able to deliver the infrastructure that turns our suburbs into connected neighbourhoods, whilst at the same time looking after our older suburbs, many of which lie in Division 3. They have ageing infrastructure. The great balancing act for any local government experiencing rapid population growth. So I'm really pleased to see in our budget, specifically in relation to Division 3, in relation to our drainage and that infrastructure that so desperately needs upgrading. We've got $4 million for the East Ipswich catchment drainage rehabilitation. There's $200,000 for the further work on the drainage rehab in Wood End, and there's $100,000 for the culvert restoration on Burgess Hill in Bundamba. I'm also delighted to announce, as the Mayor has, that we've increased our pensioner discount. So we have a large group of senior residents that live in Ipswich, and the economic crisis has obviously, of course, has impacted them greatly. So I'm glad that we are able to increase that pensioner discount. And just finally, community is at the heart of every decision made in this budget. Shaping healthier, happier and more connected suburbs is a priority and focus for this new council, and certainly for both Councillor Antonelli and I, it will be our main focus going forward. So thank you.
Thank you, Councillor Doyle. Any other comments or discussion? Councillor Madden.
Chair, I'd just like to say a few words as to how the 2024-25 council budget relates to Division 4. When I was campaigning to be elected as a councillor for Division 4, a common criticism that I heard was that Division 4 did not receive its fair share of the annual council budget, and that the Division 4 councillors elected at the 2024 election needed to ensure that this concern, whether true or not, was addressed. So I'm pleased to advise the residents of Division 4 that the 2024-25 council budget goes a long way to addressing their concerns, from Talagalla in the east, Pine Mountain in the north, 1 Mile in the south, and Carolee in the west. At Chua, the $6.5 million reconstruction of Colleges Crossing Recreation Reserve has begun. The reserve is the premier riverside park in Ipswich, and a feature of the reconstruction is the emphasis on playground equipment and improved access to the Brisbane River. At Carolee, the end of the rugby league season will see work begin on the new $1.4 million clubhouse at the Blue Gum Reserve, home for the mighty Carolee Tornadoes Rugby League Club. At Tivoli, work will soon begin on the planning and design upgrades of the Tivoli Sporting Complex at a cost of $500,000. At Pine Mountain, $740,000 has been allocated for Stage 3 of the stabilisation of Iron Pot Creek banks. Cricket and AFL players will be pleased to learn that at 1 Mile, the budget provides for a $1 million upgrade to the sports field lighting at Ivan Marsden Memorial Sports Centre. And I know that at Saguna, residents will be pleased to learn that $1.5 million has been allocated for the Adelong Avenue Road reconstruction. Chair, $3.2 million has been allocated for the second stage of the Talagalla Cemetery expansion, while nearby $1.9 million has been allocated for an upgrade of a major culvert on Talagalla Road. Westmac students, staff and parents will be pleased to learn that in the budget, $1 million has been allocated for an upgrade of the problematic Woolcracker Connection and Keswick Roads intersection. Marburg residents will be pleased to learn that $580,000 has been allocated for the rehabilitation of the Marburg Detention Basin, while in Rosewood, the magnificent Rosewood Library will see improvements to the library at a cost of $120,000. But the budget does not contain all the infrastructure items that myself and Councillor Cullen hope to achieve in 2024-25. We hope to use funds allocated to councillors to use at their discretion to see improvements to the Crib Park dog off leash area, improve signage at the problematic intersection of Waterworks Road and Holdsworth Road, and what I call the missing link in the Rosewood footpath network that will finally see an extension of 30 metres that will see the Rosewood State School Hall finally connected to the School Street footpath that leads to the main street of Rosewood, being John Street. Finally, Chair, I hope this budget goes some way to addressing the concerns of residents of Division 4 expressed to me during the 2024 election campaign as to this division receiving its fair share of the annual council budget.
Thanks very much for that. Is there any other discussion? Councillor Augustine.
Thanks, Chair. I'm pleased with what outcomes we have achieved in this budget. In Division 1, we've secured $4 million to the continuation of the Mary Street intersection upgrade in Blackstone, $3.4 million for the replacement of the Hidden Vale Road Tom Curl Bridge in Calvert, 1.3 towards the completion of Redbank Plains upgrade stage 3. And I know this project has been draining on our community, particularly Redbank Plains and Bellberg Park residents. But I can honestly say the council officers on this project are working extremely diligently and with such professionalism to see this project completed. We've also got $500,000 to the planning of the new sporting fields, clubhouse and car park at Redbank Plains Rec Reserve, $197 for the reconstruction on curb and channel works at Cross Street Raceview. But I must say, my favourite of the budget, and if I could do cartwheels, and in my heyday, Chair, I couldn't
give
even
it a
do
go.
them there. So, but if I could, the 310,000 that's contributed to the planning for the upgrade of School Road, Redbank Plains, that's my favourite. As chair of the Economic and Cultural Development Committee, I can confidently say that this budget is well thought out and provides quality outcomes for our residents and organisations. Our economy has grown $13 billion this last financial year, and it's clear that the city's economic development strategy is making its mark. Local businesses are absolutely vital to Ipswich, employ more residents, generating more jobs and continuing to grow our economy at the fastest rate than any other South East Queensland council. So we should be all proud of that. Some small business-friendly initiatives like our new business breakfast. So if you've got a new business, come on down. We're happy to meet. Continuation of our Ipswich Central revitalisation program, which I once again must thank my colleague Councillor Doyle for her steadfast chairing of this committee for the past council term. We've also got $7.1 million to the arts and cultural services, with the continuation of some spectacular festivals, including the Festival of Horsepower, our Spark Festival that's going to start on the 4th of July, a galvanised festival with artists and artwork on show that's sure to capture your imagination. We're also continuing leveraging our 2032 roadmap to the Olympic and Paralympic Games. Also, our hotel and short stay term accommodation action plan is also continuing. Also, our new advocacy advisory committee chaired by the Mayor, where we will advocate for our share of funding from state and federal governments, because Ipswich, we just can't wait. I'd like to give a special mention to all council officers, plus the CEO, who helped deliver this message of what this $606 million budget means for Ipswich. This budget is great for Ipswich. It achieves great outcomes across my division and the whole city, something I've been advocating for since my election, which is School Road. And that is why I'll be voting to adopt this budget. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you, Councillor Augustine. Any other discussion? Councillor Madsen.
Thank you, Councillor Tully. I just wanted to take the opportunity, being a budget delivered a couple of months after an election, to acknowledge the councillors which were on the former council who aren't here today. Former Councillor Ireland, former Councillor Milligan, former Councillor Kunzelman and former Councillor Fechner. They contributed a great deal to the initial preparation of this year's budget. A lot of the projects that are included they advocated for, so I want to acknowledge their efforts in that regard. I'd like to, just further highlight a few of the projects in Division 1, the Marion Williams Street intersection upgrade, the planning of the upgrade at School Road at Redbank Plains. I welcome Councillor Augustine working with me on those projects, but those were some projects that myself and Councillor Ireland worked very hard on for a number of years, so I just wanted to acknowledge Councillor Ireland. We'll be working very hard together, Councillor Augustine and I, to get those finalised and built for our community. And just really wanted to take that opportunity, because it's not always a thankful task being a councillor in Queensland. And those councillors who put in a lot of work over the last 12 months that aren't here today, I'm thinking of them and their contributions.
Thank you very much. Further discussion? Councillor Antonelli.
Yes, thank you, Chair. I'd just like to take this opportunity to commend particularly the Mayor and my fellow councillors, as well as the CEO and their staff, on what's been a very difficult, make no mistake, a very challenging budget, but our collegiate approach to working towards some favourable outcomes for essentially a budget that is not too dissimilar to a family budget, except it's a much larger family of some 250,000 members. So very challenging indeed, and particularly when trying to balance the household inflation rate against the inflation rate that impacts construction and infrastructure. So, and as the infrastructure chairperson, I'd like to particularly commend this budget for its commitment to ongoing infrastructure needs here in Ipswich. But I'd also like to thank my divisional councillor colleague, Councillor Doyle, for the fact that we have a very, very similar and closely aligned, almost in lockstep view to what the needs of our division are. And it's been really pleasing to work with her, particularly in relation to looking after our pensioners. So I just take that opportunity. I'd also like to just reaffirm our vision, which is a city of opportunity for all, which really speaks to the fact that we are, it's our goal to ensure that we have a lifestyle for the people of Ipswich that they can enjoy. And that means that we do have to deliver more than just roads, rates and rubbish. And particularly I refer to the fact that, as I said before, about our commitment to looking after our pensioners, but also to ensuring that we provide many much loved free activities and events for our local residents. But I'd also like to highlight a few things in relation to Division 3 that are occurring this year that we've committed to in this budget. And, you know, as a city, we all love our cultural pursuits and sporting pursuits. And in particular, I refer to 600,000 being committed to the replacement of lighting at the Queen's Park tennis court. The tennis courts there at Queen's Park are probably in the most picturesque of any tennis court anywhere in southeast Queensland. And also 255,000 that goes towards the planning for the resurfacing of the netball court, which is probably one of the fastest growing sports here in Ipswich, with about a 12% growth rate each year. So that is something that we're committed to ensure that those people who enjoy that sport can continue to do so. I also referred to 1.3 million for road rehabilitation in Casey Street at Leichhardt. So those residents in that area will be very pleased to see that undertaken. And finally, 322,000 being spent on road rehabilitation at McInerney Street in Collingwood Park. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Councillor Cullen.
Boy, what a lesson. We got elected in March, and I've got to say thanks very much to the Ipswich City Council for helping us, or holding our hands, us new councillors, through this process. As you know, I've been a businessman for many years, and I've had to learn a new skill, and it's building a budget for the city. And it's a little bit different to what I do in a business, but let me say that it's been tremendous, or a big learning curve, and I think probably a lot of the new councillors would understand exactly what I'm saying. Like, I reiterate what Councillor Madsen said, and what an amazing job done by the previous team before we took over. So, look, it's always tough to spread the money where it needs to go, and I think we've just got to do the best we can. And as Councillor Madden said, there's plenty for Division 4 coming out. We'd always like more, and I think everyone would like more. That's for next year's budget as we start working towards that. But a great effort by the team, a great effort for the Ipswich residents. Some probably don't feel as lucky as others, but we will get to you, I think. It's just a matter of time. But I just want to say a tremendous job, and a big learning curve for me in particular. But I think we've delivered an effective budget and a fair budget to the residents of Ipswich. And thanks for the councillors, previous and current, for helping us get through this momentous task. Thank you.
Thank you. Is there any further discussion, either the Mayor or Deputy Mayor? Mayor?
No, I'd just like to thank, if I could, Chair, thank all the councillors for their contribution. It has been, you get elected and come in straight away to see a drafted budget to pour through line by line. I appreciate whilst onboarding they were going through a budget line by line, and they burnt the midnight oil getting through it all, and putting forward queries from residents, and part of the reason why they ran as well. So I want to thank everyone for working together, and thank you again, Chair, for stepping up today as the Finance and Governance Chair. Thank you very much for stepping up today and chairing today's meeting.
Thank you. And just for sake of completeness, Deputy Mayor, did you wish to make a comment?
I think everyone has summarised the feeling quite well, so I have nothing further to add. Thank you, Chair.
All right, I'll just make some. Councillor Doyle.
Sorry, I know this is outside. I've already just spoken, but if I may, Chair, indulge.
With some
nobody
indulgence,
has
yes.
mentioned our esteemed CEO, Ms Sonia Cooper. I would just like to thank our CEO for your leadership, your intellect, your professional reputation at both state and local government level, and particularly your leadership and assisting us councillors as we've prepared this new budget. Having been on council for over 4 years now, watching the organisation mature has been really, really pleasing, and that comes down to your leadership. So thank you.
Thanks, Councillor Doyle. I'll just make some concluding remarks to endorse what the Mayor had said about the challenges we face as one of the two fastest growing council areas in Queensland. That is a real challenge, both within the community and from a financial point of view, and with a city that's going to double its population on current estimates, state estimates, within the next 20 or 22 years. That is a phenomenal rate of growth, and we need to face that challenge now in a very sensible way. In the Western Corridor, of course, that amount of development has put major challenges, particularly in that area from Greater Springfield through to the Ripley Valley, and other parts of the city are developing at an enormous rate. Can I say to the three brand new councillors, it's four if I include Councillor Antonelli, who's back again for another term, but that is a real challenge. It's a matter that's come up at local government conferences about elections held in March, and with a budget to be adopted within two to 3 months, and whether or not there should be some changes to the timing. That is an enormous challenge to each one of you, with a very large budget, and I think you've handled that very, very well in terms of assessing what had already been informally decided over a period of months, going back to the latter part of last year as well. So personally, I'd thank you. Can I say on a personal level, I counted up the years, it's actually the 45th budget of the Ipswich City Council that I've been involved with, which makes Groundhog Day of 33 years look pretty ordinary. So thanks very much on that comment.
Should be pretty good at it by now, I'd say.
Oh, sorry, if you repeat that, if it's a good comment.
It was a good comment. You should be pretty good at it by now, I'd say.
All right, thank you. I'll put that motion. All in favour? The Mayor, and that's all in favour here, and the Mayor, Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
I declare that motion carried. We now move to item 6.3, the overall plan for the Rural Fire Resources Levy Special Charge, and I'll move that in accordance with section 94 of the Local Government Regulation 2012, Ipswich City Council adopt the overall plan as detailed in this report for the Rural Fire Resources Levy Special Charge. Before I just call for a seconder, is there any discussion needed or questions of the relevant officer? No, thank you. Is there a seconder? Councillor Madden. Any discussion? No, I'll put that motion. All in favour?
If I may, Chair.
Oh, sorry, Mayor.
Sorry.
Yeah, yes, Mayor, certainly.
I just want to highlight the good work that the Rural Fire Service do in our community. Each and every year, each every month they train. Certainly in the lead up to summer last year, there was all the warnings of bushfires. They did a lot of prevention work, a lot of education work in our community. Obviously, we had a very wet season, but they were ready to go. And even when it is a wet season, the Rural Fire Service work hand in hand with the SES. So very pleased to continue to support them. Council worked with the local Rural Fire Services to find out what projects we want to do the next financial year, and that's sort of how we base the levy. And so I just want to thank the volunteers at the Rural Fire Service for all the work they do in our community. Thank you, Chair.
Thank you. Any other discussion? Yes, Councillor Madden.
Chair, it'd be remiss of me not to thank the two Rural Fire Services located in Division 4 at Pine Mountain and at Marburg for their excellent work, and I note that their The burn back or the reduce of workload has already begun at Muirlea and was recently completed. Thanks very much.
Thank you. No other comments? I'll put that motion. All in favour? That's all councillors, including the Mayor. Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
I declare that carried unanimously. 6.4, the rates timetable for 2024-25. I move the motion as printed in relation to the four rating dates and dates for payment. Is there any discussion with officers required? Thank you. Is a seconder? We won't be sending rate notices out without a seconder. Councillor Antonelli. Discussion? I'll put the motion. All in favour? That's all councillors, including the Mayor. Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
I'll declare that motion carried. Moving to item 6.5, the rates concessions for charitable non-profit sporting organisations, and I will move paragraphs A and B, or I'll propose paragraphs A and B as printed. Is there any questions for officers? No. Seconder? Councillor Doyle. Any discussion? Okay, so with A and B, that will, Councillor Madsen, that will include all of the items listed in the attachments 1 and 2. Discussion? Thank you. I'll put the motion. All in favour? That's all councillors here and the Mayor. Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
I'll declare that motion carried unanimously. Item 6.6, the adoption of refuse and recycling centre fees and other minor fee amendments. I'll move that the proposed revised fees and charges as detailed in attachment 1 as amended be adopted with an effective date of the 1st of July 2024. I'll just ask the CEO, is that an amendment or are we voting on the amended document already? Do we need the words as amended in there?
We don't, Chair, no.
Okay. Well, I'll delete the words as amended because you've been provided with an updated document that we're voting on. Is there any discussion required with the officers? Any questions to the officers? Thank you. I'll move that motion. Is there a seconder? Councillor Madden. Discussion? I'll put that motion. All in favour? That's everyone, including the Mayor online. Councillor Johnnick?
Affirmative.
I'll declare that motion carried unanimously. Thank you, everyone. That is the conclusion of the meeting. We wish you well, Mayor. Thank you for holding up with your budget speech. It's been difficult. It's been difficult for me. There's lots of bits and pieces when you're doing this, particularly a budget that's being adopted and changes being made up until last night or this morning, I think. CEO, thank you. Personally, you might just sort of say a few words just in conclusion, about the unusual situation we faced.
Thank you very much, Chair. It was indeed, and thank you very much to, of course, all of the Mayor, Deputy Mayor and councillors. The team did work as best we could and I believe worked effectively to do what was required to ensure that all councillors for this term were sufficiently engaged and informed in setting the direction that is set out in the annual plan and budget. I'm very humbled by what Councillor Doyle said. If I can just please, as I always like to do, pass my thanks on to the team. The 1,500 strong, again, council team does work very hard and is very committed to making a positive difference in the lives of the community that we serve together. So thank you very much to you, Chair, and to all councillors here today, Mayor and Deputy Mayor. Thank you.
Thank you. Just in conclusion, we'll be speaking to the media downstairs just after 10 o'clock, and Councillor Augustine, you can do those cartwheels that you're so excited over down there in the mall. So thank you. At 9:50 a.m. I declared this meeting closed.
Thank you, Chair.